Boy, that sun is hot today. These are warm to the touch, and the stove is not even plugged in. That's how hot the sun is today. Feels like my burners are on. Just setting up my new stove here at my apartment here in Goodyear Heights. It's an upstairs 2-bedroom, 1-bath upstairs apartment. I just finished painting, and I think in my other video I talked about the stove that was really bad. I had to replace it, so went ahead and ordered this new one. They delivered it yesterday, and I got it. I'm just getting it all set up. It has these pressure plates on it. I kind of thought that was neat. I don't buy many electric stoves. In fact, this might be the first one I've purchased. So I don't know if these are new. Let me know in the comments if they are, but they look new to me. You know, the last one that was in here did not have these, put it that way. So it's like if you leave the burner on, you can come up here and touch it and burn yourself. But these have low pressure sensors on them, so they're not going to work unless there's a pan on it. I thought that was kind of neat. I got this at Lowe's, $5.50 or something like that, I think it was. Brand new. I went back and forth between buying used appliances versus new. The problem is the newer ones, the decent ones they're really cheap now. The price of you get a decent model, like I said, this was I think $550. You're going to pay $350 or so for a used one in an appliance store. I'm like, I don't know how old it is. I'm not an expert on appliances. I'm not going to look up the model number to see how old an appliance is, how many years it's got left. So I just started buying new again. I originally started buying new, then I experimented with the used ones and just didn't like it. Had too many issues with them. So that's why I go to new appliances now, and haven't had another issue. But then you never know. There's always going to be a good. There can always be a chance that there's going to be a bad unit. This is my first hot point. It's a cheaper stove, but it had really good reviews. The only reason I got this is I am trying to save money right now. Try to increase my cash flow. I usually buy a GE or Whirlpool. But this one, surprisingly, even if it was a cheaper model, it had really good reviews on it, so I decided to try it out. And the next turnover, I'll inspect it and see how it works. Properties turn over frequently in Akron. Most of my tenants stay a couple years, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. I've got one tenant that's been here for, it's been in one of my properties the longest. It's been about 5 years now, I think he's been on board. So anyway, a story about that one, I'll tell you real quick. I made another video about it about a year ago or so. He's actually in a different property. This tenant really it made me feel good. I mean, he liked being my tenant, and I enjoyed him as a tenant. He always paid on time, and he kept this place neat. He was in a small 2-bedroom, if you want to call it that. One was like a really small room, but he ended up getting married while he was living there, and then they had a child, and they needed a bigger place. So they ended up moving into one of my larger 3-bedroom properties on the other side of town, which actually worked better for them. They were closer to work for both of them. So anyway, it's a quick story. I just wanted to add that in there. This is my last property that I had to do a repaint on because it had my old colors. If you've seen other videos in this series, you've seen what color it was. It was a tan, brownish tan color, and onion skin tan it was called, for I think that was the walls or the trim, one or the other. It was ugly. I wish I painted my first 2 properties with those colors, and I just didn't like them. So I switched to this Saxon gray and a white on semi-gloss white for the woodwork, and I love it. I actually like it so much. My wife likes the colors that we painted our living room and our house the same color. So okay, so now I feel like a dummy. I just installed this stove. I'm gonna have to add this video to the end after everybody gets a good laugh at the first one. But anyway, these are not pressure sensors to make sure there's a pan on, like I thought. They're actually temperature sensors. So sitting here turning it on. I thought it was broken because I turned the burners on and they heated up. I'm like, oh, it's like the safety feature ain't working. Of course, I didn't call. Fortunately, I didn't call. But anyway, they're just temperature sensors. It says clearly on it, sense technology. So maybe this. It just helps the burner be at the correct temperature. It's not a safety feature like I thought. Anyway, I had to add this on there to try to redeem myself from my stupidity in the previous video. Hope you've enjoyed this humbling video. Again, this is Kevin with the Compulsive Investor.